But I finally convinced some clients to buy some Bitcoin, to buy some Ethereum, to, invest in Dan's funds and blockchain capital with the brothers. I had managed money for endowments, and I was working down here at University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. And the short version is we had done quite well from 2000 2002 in the first tech wreck, mostly because we had a lot of hedge funds and a lot of venture capital. And so we were flat in that whole period. Average endowment down 25%. A couple wealthy families came and said, hey, why don't you come work for us? I'm like, nice of you to ask, but I don't really want to work for one firm, but maybe starting a firm called Outsourced CIO. In fact, I actually technically think I coined the term OCIO. I was the first one to use it in a presentation way back when in 2004. And so we launched with a couple clients. We grew that to a handful of clients and a nice little business, morphed from there into fund of funds. In 2008, one of our biggest investors, an individual institution-like capital, came to us and said, your fund stuff does well, fund to funds, 15, 16%, that's great. But your direct deals, like Liquid Death, we co-invested in that directly through a fund relationship. But your deals, they do better. They do 30%. I said, well, that's not because we're geniuses, just math, right? We're holding for a shorter period of time because we come in later, and we pay 70% less fees because we're going direct. Mm-hmm. So we get 30% IRRs. So we launched a series of direct investment funds and made a bunch of direct investments. So fast forward, one of the things we had always done is back talent, and mostly in the hedge fund space, but also in the venture capital and private equity space. But we backed pretty much anyone who came out of Tiger. Julian Robertson, mentor of mine for many years, very lucky. And everyone who left, whether it was Lee Ainsley to form Maverick, or John Griffin to form Blue Ridge, or Steve Mandel to form Lone Pine, or Dan Moorhead to form Pantera. And so we gave him his first institutional check 20 some odd years ago to do a macro fund. 2013, he calls me up and says, hey, you want to have dinner? I'm like, sure, I always want to have dinner with my friend. So I go out to San Francisco, sit down, and he says, hey, I'm shutting down the fund. I'm giving back the money, and I'm going to spend the rest of my career on blockchain and Bitcoin. I'm like, Dan, why would you give back $1 billion, charging 2 and 20? He's like, because this is going to be the greatest thing. I'm like, okay. And look, in 2013, I had heard of Bitcoin.
Sure.
I knew what blockchain was, kind of. But I was not running drugs on Silk Road. I was not a cryptography student. And I didn't get it, right? I would say the Winklevoss twins and I were introduced to Bitcoin the same month, May 2013. They're multi-billionaires and I'm not. Why?
Exactly.
They were in a visa with the guys, and I wasn't. And I wasn't part of that culture. And so I was skeptical. And it took me a while to do the work. But as soon as Dan said infrastructure, picks and shovels, I'm like, I've made a lot of money in that. We invested in Google and eBay and Yahoo and the internet. And then we did a bunch in the mobile net around 2010. Yeah, this all made sense to me. So we invested in his venture fund. It's up, 20 times at this point. It's done well. FTX is a big investment. And make a long story short, it took me a couple years to get comfortable, but I finally convinced some clients to buy some Bitcoin, to buy some Ethereum, to, invest in Dan's funds and blockchain capital with the brothers. And then I met Pomp. And it was funny. I met Pomp through a deal. We were investing in Lyft. We were early investors in Uber, early investors in Didi, Quadi, which became Didi, in Ola and Grab and Lyft. And we were trying to convince Pomp and his partner Jason to invest in Lyft through one of our special purpose vehicles. And I thought he was a nice guy. He had just moved back north. And long story short, I brought them in. So Jason and Pomp are venture partners. I've got 2 new general partners, and the 5 of us make Morgan Creek Digital. We just closed our 3rd fund and still make investments. We made about 70 investments in infrastructure businesses. We put about 20% of the capital. We can go up to 30, but we put about 20% of the capital in protocols directly. Bitcoin, Ethereum, we're big investors in Solana. So that's the story. First love.
That's it for today, guys. If you found this video useful, then don't forget to like the video and share this knowledge with your friends and family. And don't forget to check out the full video, link is in the description. Thank you.